We are back. It's part 2 of the ILFL Soccer Night show this evening. Like I said, we've got Stepney FC in the house tonight. Zara and Harry have come in to talk about all things Stepney. We've been discussing a little bit about the club and what they've been doing, and now we're going to discuss pretty much the game yesterday. But first I'm going to turn to you, Jermaine, because they were up against the Hackney and Leighton representative, the remaining Hackney and Leighton representative in Mile End. On paper, we all thought it was going to be a cracking game. No doubt it was. But Mile End came out on the wrong side of a 1-0 defeat. Is it one of those fixtures where if you played it 5 times in a row, it's the cost of a toy which decides which way it would go?
I think so. And I think as well, because the two teams pretty much know each other as well, you're always going to get that, we need to get one over on them. It's not like two teams, obviously there's different leagues, but I know the players know each other, and it means a lot to get one on over. So yeah, it probably would be that kind of scenario.
So you watched some of the game. In a nutshell, tell us how you saw it.
Well, the first half I thought, you know, Mile End had a few chances. They looked to be in control. They had the wind on their side as well. And they looked good, missed a few chances, but, you know, Stepney rode it and kept them at bay. I then went to watch the Gower All-Stars game, and when I came back to watch the Stepney Mile End game, it was Stepney who was in the ascendancy and getting stronger and stronger as the game went on. So you could see the game was a very evenly matched game, and it was one of those games you enjoyed watching because it was just football. It was 80% football, 20% talking, and you know, I've got to give full credit to the two sides, in particular Stepney as well, because you know the football done the talking. You know, they defended very well. First team to stop Mile End scoring this season, I think. Yeah. I've thinking about it, I was on my way, and I thought to myself, definitely the first team to stop Mile End scoring. No team's done that this season. They've always scored at least 2 goals.
Wow.
So you know, got fair credits to Stepney. Done a very good job.
Nano, you were there. You were watching it from the sidelines, so to speak, as well. What was your take on the game?
Yeah, I watched the game start to end, and I think I watched it more closely than anybody else because I was actually on the line. And I tell you what, Stepney definitely had something in the back pocket. I have to say that. For the first 5 minutes, Mile End were all over the place. You know, they were 6'2" plus guys, you know, and they were really huge, and they were winning all the balls in the air. And it actually took about 10-15 minutes for Stepney to bring the game under their control, and that's what they did, and I think that they did that quite well. And once they got the game under their control, they had the win against them, by the way, in the first half as well. And they kept the ball low, they kept the ball down, they kept the passes very short, and you know, they kept moving around as well. So they held on to it in the first half, and they played it like that. And all this time, Mile End were getting ever agitated and frustrated because they can't control the game. You know, it's all Stepney, they were controlling the game. As soon as the second half kicked in, Stepney had the win behind them, and they had that advantage, and within 10 minutes, a goal went in. And we thought at this time, you know, Stepney could score a few more goals, but it never happened because after that first goal was scored, Mile End, with all due respect, they did step up.
Yeah, they reacted.
But because they had the win against them as well, they couldn't get a goal in, you know. So in all this time, Mile End were getting frustrated while Stepney just kept the ball down and kept moving the ball around, passing, moving, and that's what they're doing. They're trying to hold possession, you know. They weren't really pushing, but all they were doing was just holding possession, and they had the wind behind them as well, and that's what gave them the advantage. Like I said, you know, Stepney definitely had something in the back pocket, you know, and I was there when they tossed the coin, you know, and to my surprise, you know, Stepney won the toss, but they decided to play against the wind in the first half, which I thought was quite unusual because, you know, you want the wind on your side in the first half, get all the goals in, and on the second half you just hold back and you know, just defend. But that wasn't the case, so well done to Stepney.
Well done indeed. And they come up against a very spirited Gower All-Stars team who, again, on paper we looked at it and thought it was going to be quite a contrast in styles between two teams, but Gower All-Stars, it was an impressive performance by them. Were 2 goals up very, very quickly against Reach Out. And although Reach Out came out in the second half and got a goal back, and we thought, well, something was going to happen, Gower then went and put another 3 past them and ended up winning the game by 5 goals to 1. They're not in your league, they're not in our league. Nope. But we've got to be impressed by Gower. I mean, we've sat here before and said that, you know, Gower could do something this year after getting so close last time. They're not going to want to turn up and just make up the numbers.
Yeah, they're one of those teams who, since the first time they entered the tournament have gone from strength to strength each season. They got knocked out the first round when they first came in, then got to the semi-finals, and now they've got to the finals. So if you used to like me to predict who I think would win the finals, because I think both teams have got something in their locker, and Gower All-Stars are no exceptions. I did watch some of the game. I was impressed with their work ethic. I was impressed with their spirit. They're good from set pieces, and you know they're a nice bunch of guys as well, just like Stepney. So for me, it's going to be a very interesting final. I don't think we'll be disappointed by the two teams' performance in the final. I think we're going to have a cracking final. Both teams do defend very well, I do feel. I do feel
they did defend really well.
Both teams do defend very, 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 very well, and I think it'll be a very interesting game in the final. Very interesting.
I have to say, I mean, turning to the Stepney guys, I mean, it was a game that I saw from start to finish, obviously being in the middle, and reach out were limited to shots from distance. Never really had a clear shot on goal, and you're there in the final. You're up against a team who you've met previously in the Champions Cup, but this is a different team now. So what does this mean to Stepney now to be in the final? I'm going to start with you, Zar.
I mean, this is a trophy that we never won before. You know, we got to the final once before. We played London Meteors. That didn't go according to plan. But looking at yesterday's game, I mean, you mentioned the conditions, and you're surprised at us choosing to play against the wind in the first half. You know, we had a plan in place, you know, and I think that was probably our most complete performance this season. You know, we even had an opportunity to go 2-0 up and we missed the penalty. But from back to front, the way we set ourselves up, we didn't know a great deal about Mylan. We've heard a lot about them. But we just felt that in that first half, let's identify who their threats are, first and foremost. Nullify those. Play against the wind. Let's play compact, let's play deep. And we did that. We knew the second half, with the wind behind us, and we've got some technical players in our side as well, the likes of Bobby, Yassin, Rubinho. We knew that once we could get a couple of moves together on that pitch, we could open them up. I mean, and the goal that we scored, it was absolutely fantastic. You know, the ball was down on the deck, a couple of quick passes, we've carved them open, Yassin cleaned through on goal, one-on-one with the keeper, a superb finish. We could have gone 2-0 up, you know, if Murphy had tucked away the penalty. But even after missing that, we kept our heads, we kept our discipline, we kept our composure. You know, it was well organised that on the pitch, and really and truly, I don't think if a neutral's watching that game from the sideline, I mean, they would only say that there was one team that deserved to win it. You know, we maintained that discipline and we limited them for large parts of that game. You know, they didn't make the most of the conditions in the first half, but at the same time, we defended extremely well, limiting them to, you know, one clear-cut opportunity in that first half. But playing Gower All-Stars, I mean, full credit to them for getting to the final. I'm guessing it's going to be another tough game. I'm hearing that their team's changed from the last time that we've played them, so really and truly don't know what to expect. We could potentially be the underdogs with them winning a semi-final 5-1. That suits us. You know, we was underdogs against Mylan. Most people thought on paper Mylan would be the team to go through. You know, considering our result against Meteors a couple of years ago, didn't pan out that way. Football's not played on paper. It's about disciplining yourself and applying yourself on the pitch. And I thought we did that better than they did on the day.
Definitely. Absolutely. And well said indeed. So there it is. It's a final, and we're going to have a new name on the trophy. It'll either be Stepney or it'll be Gower All-Stars. That final's going to be coming up for you later on this month. We will confirm the date and announce it on next week's show, so nobody will miss it. You will all know when it's going to be, and I invite you all to be there to watch what will be a cracking game, because both teams are going to win it. That is your Interleague Champions Cup roundup. Let me move on to something just very quickly. And now we're going to talk a little bit about the Vets Cup tournament that's been happening over the last couple of weeks. Now, you'll know that we've been playing the preliminary rounds over last Thursday and the Thursday before. Group C and D did their games last Thursday. A and B did their games the week before. We've managed to sort out who the quarter-finalists are going to be, almost. Because in Group D, I think it was, we've got it where the two teams that did finish top finished on identical points, identical goal difference, identical goals scored. It it was a mad session that you guys had out there. So what we're going to have to do tonight in order to find out who plays who in the quarterfinals, just to see who finishes top and second, is we're just going to have to pick both of those teams randomly out of a hat and decide who's going to be pulled out as number 1 and who's going to be pulled out as number 2. That's going to happen in the third section of the show. Also, we've got another cup draw happening in the next part of the show as well, and it's the ILFL League Cup semi-finals that need to be drawn as well. 4 teams will be going in to a hat to find out who will be taking part in the semi-finals, which will take place this Sunday. Yes, in 6 days' time, your semi-final for the ILFL League Cup will take place, and the draw is going to take place live on the ILFL Soccer Night show in the next segment of the show. Right now, draws a breath. Before I come to Nanu, we're going to show you some highlights of some of the Vets League action over the last couple of weeks that has taken place. So maybe you're going to spot yourself, one of you over 35s running around on a Thursday night. This is your time. Sit back and have a look and see if you can see yourself on TV. Here's the Vets Cup tournament for you right now. So there it was, a bunch of old blokes all running around on Mabley Green, but that was it. That was the Vets League taking place. We showed you what happened with A and B. Like we said, Group C and D took part in their knockout games last Thursday. Nano, you can give us a little update on what's happened.
Absolutely. Well, previously we've had Groups A and B playing, and as expected, we saw a lot of goals. You know, Group C and D didn't score many goals.
They didn't produce them, no, absolutely not. And I also noticed within Group D, the team that scored the most goals in Group D didn't even go through.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it sounds crazy, doesn't it?
That's weird, isn't it?
These are cup games for you. You know, you score 10 goals in one game, have 2 draws or even a loss, you know, and that's it. You're out, yeah. And then a team that, you know, scores 1 goal, wins a game, draws the next game, even loses the third game, and they're through. You know, so this is cup games for you. So it's up for grabs. It's up for anyone. You know, if you were running for the title in the beginning of the season and find yourself somewhere at the bottom, then the cup games is something to show that if you can achieve something there, then you can prove to yourself that yeah, okay, we made of something, you know. But anyway, it was exciting as usual. You know, a lot of people turned up, and the games were sort of quite even, if you know what I mean. You know, I mean, the highest goals that was scored by Sai was 3 goals. Other than that, it was at 0-0 draws. You know, it kind of reflects the strengths and weaknesses that we have in our league divisions. You know, so that's basically what it was. You know, it was a game that a lot of games played, high tempo games. You know, but the results were just very narrow, and you know, we were expecting a little bit more goals.
So any teams in any of the other groups, apart from the Tigers that have gone through, you know, and all the normal stuff, any other team that maybe we should be watching out for in the quarterfinal who might do something with a favourable draw?
Well, you've got the usual suspects like, you know, Tigers, Weavers, Tower Hamlets.
Tower Hamlets are looking good this time.
Tower Hamlets are looking quite good. But then again, I don't think they're in full strength like they were a couple of seasons ago. So this might be the end of the journey for them. The quarterfinals. Okay, so I'll put my neck on the line on that one.
So is this Tigers going all the way again and just holding on?
It could be. It could be. It really depends, you know. The other team actually that quite surprised me was that Bowman Masters B went through. The A team didn't go through. So
and a certain panelist is scoring goals for them as well.
I know. Rash scored 2 goals in front of my eyes. I couldn't believe it.
Have you noticed I deliberately haven't got him on in this segment to talk about it as well?
I know. I mean, that was set him on fire.
I know he's outside there screaming at the TV, but
no. One of the goals that I saw was from a distance, from probably a 25-30 yard low shot. You know, he squared it. It went through, you know. I mean, the keeper wasn't even ready. He wasn't even expecting that ball to come this far and in a straight line, you know. And I have to say, you know, although me and Rash, we argue a lot on the studio, but when we played against him in a league game, I was in goal once, and he scored a similar type of goal. So I think for the teams, watch out for Rash because he can score these types of goals from 25 yards. Watch out for
Rashid, watch out for Bowman. No, I'm going to have to stop you. We're going to have to finish off our roundup in the next segment of the show because we've got to take a break. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do the draw to show you who's going to go through from Group D and also the draw for the ILFL League Cup. It's all coming up after this short break. See you on the other side.